So Tony, just the adjustment. I mean, you get here and you jump in pretty quickly. How's your adjustment like?
It's been good. Just trying to find a place to live and move my family up. So now that's done, you can really focus on football. Really enjoying the room, really enjoying the coaching staff. We got a room full of really good guys and good personalities. We got a staff that is very knowledgeable, very mature, and I'm looking forward to it. We got great minds like Graham Harrell, Coach Brown, who's also coached receivers. You know, just being able to learn from him and just gain on his knowledge has been a blessing so far.
So you have a house now?
Yeah, I got a rental. Yeah, I got a rental right now, so I'll get in my full-time house soon. In a rental right now.
Tony, will you be building your own house?
Yeah, we're gonna build. We're gonna
Are you
build.
really?
Yeah. So it should be fun.
Can you take me through your education and the majors there and everything? It seems like it's, no offense, but it's kind of unusual for the football background.
It's about my majors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did building science at Appalachian State with a concentration in construction management and architecture. So, you know, I kind of hit it from both sides. That's what I thought I wanted to do. Thought I wanted to build buildings, design houses, and then had the opportunity to play in the NFL for a few years and did that. And then I realized, like, the game was in me, and I didn't want to leave it alone. I didn't want to sit behind a desk and crunch numbers for the rest of my life. So I decided to get back into coaching.
Building your wide receiver core right now, we've got some veterans and some young guys mixed in. What do you see from your guys so far?
I see a ton of talent. I see a ton of potential. I see guys that, to me, in my eyes, can be some of the better receivers in this league. I think the biggest thing is just hammering down the details and hammering down just the fundamentals of the position. I got guys that can do some amazing things, but it's the consistency key that I think it is. I mean, guys, you know, everybody's talented. That's why they're here. But it's who can be that talented guy every single time they go out there. And so that's the part for me. And I think the consistency comes with the fundamentals and the technique. And so as soon as these guys really hone in on that part, hone in on their craft, and know what they're doing, I think they're going to be phenomenal.
So what techniques do you stress?
The biggest thing is just winning at the line, you know, especially at this level. Seeing a lot of press coverage, man-to-man, you have to be able to win at the line. Our guys are really good at that. They have the quickness, they have the foot speed to win. But it's, like I said, it's the consistency, it's the technique, it's how you're winning. You know, you can win one or two, but to win 8, 9, 10 in a row, that's going to rely on fundamentals. You know, and like I tell these guys, you have to have a toolbox. You know, like a guy's not going to come and try to do a job with just a hammer. You know, that's one move, that's one technique. You got to have a hammer, you got to have a screwdriver, you got to have a wrench, you got to have everything if you're going to get the job done. And so that's really what I'm trying to empower these guys to do, is just having that toolbox full of different techniques and different things to where, hey, this guy got to use this guy have to use the hammer, this guy got to use the screwdriver, you know, just helping them get to where they need to be, because like I said, they're very talented. It's just helping them get to that next level.
Evaluate the guys you have. Give us a comment or two on some of your top guys.
When I look at Bryce Wheaton, I look at probably one of the most physical specimens I've ever worked with. You know, I've been a lot of places and seen a lot of really good players, but just the size that he has and the ability he has is really good, and I think he can be a phenomenal player. For him, it's just going to be, like I said, that being consistent, that concentration, that understanding what he is, understanding he's a big body, he has to play powerful. You know, he has the finesse part of his game, but being more powerful, being more physical, you know, using his big body to make some of these catches, and I think he'll be really good. I look at Sam James, very twitchy, you know, elite twitch player, a lot of quickness, a lot of speed. He's going to be really good. He's played really good so far throughout this camp. I mean, throughout spring ball, he's been really good. I've been surprised with him. I like what direction he's going in. And then KP, Kaiden Prather, just a young kid who I think doesn't know how good he really is. I think he can be phenomenal. I think he'd be one of the best players I've worked with. I think he'd be a draft guy. You know, all those guys can, but I think KP has a ton of potential. With him, it's just, you know, it's him understanding I have to be locked in every day. You know, being a young guy, sometimes he can slip out of focus. It's just being locked in every day and understanding who you are and being who you are every play.
Coach Brown's mentioned Preston Fox a couple times so far. What does he do as a former walk-on that's kind of stood out to you?
Man, he catches the ball. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, wide receiver position is about catching the ball, making the play. And you know, like I said, some people, you know, they look good, they look phenomenal making the play. Some people don't look good, but they make the play. At the end of the day, that's what you want. You want production. You know, you can grade a million different things, who's doing what techniques, what's this and that. But at the end of the day, the production is key. And so far through the first 5 days, his production has been through the roof, especially for a walk-on kid.
receiver in college, but obviously then went to the NFL. Things that you learned in the NFL that maybe didn't know in college that you can pass on to your receivers now?
Just the mindset. Like I tell players everywhere I go, it's a mindset. The best players, the best athletes aren't necessarily playing in the NFL. It's the most consistent guys. You know, you can make an amazing one-hand catch 1 out of 10 times. It doesn't make you an NFL player. It's the guy that can go out there, and if he has 10 attempts, he's going to have 10 catches, 9 catches. It's the production. You look at the guys who last in this league, there's a lot of flash in the pan. Guys who go to the NFL, they have a splash year, and then they kind of disappear. It's those guys that can be consistent day in and day out, know how to take care of their body, practice like a pro, do the things off the field to be ready for the on-the-field activities. That's what takes those guys to the next level. And so that's really the biggest thing I tell any college player is just you don't understand the time and the things that guys at that level put into their game. You just see Sundays. You don't see Monday through Saturday. You don't see the off-season regimens. You don't see the amount of catches they put in. It's that work that goes on behind the scenes that I think these guys have to learn. And you can't wait till you get there. You have to do it now. And so that's really what I'm preaching, getting those guys to prepare like pros now at the college level.
A young guy like Gerald Williams at right now.
Jarrell, he's looking good. I mean, he's got to, from a physicality standpoint, he's got to develop a little bit. He's got to get in the weight room and do some things, but he has a lot of natural traits. He's kind of slippery. He has traits just to naturally get open. He does some things that I really like from a route running standpoint. I think for him, this spring has been tremendous. He's a guy that I think is going to develop a lot over the spring and come back in the fall with a much different mindset and kind of know what's going on. I think he'll have a chance to help us a little bit this year.
Slot or outside?
He's a guy that I think can play both. Right now we're using him primarily outside, but I think he can possibly do both. I just think he's a really good player. He's learning the offense very well for a young guy who's had 5 college practices. Just the way he's picking it up and developing, I really like that. And like I said, he just has to get in the weight room and develop a little bit, and I think between this summer and camp he's going to do that.
Tony, did your career in football, playing and coaching, catch you by surprise? It didn't sound like you were going to say it like you were thinking about that right away. You said you ended up in the NFL. A lot of guys dream of that.
Yeah, like I always tell the story, like, I went to Appalachian State. Everybody knows Appalachian State's a football school, but when I was there, it was FCS. So, that dream of going to the NFL was always it was out there, but it wasn't really like attainable. And for me, I remember the first call I got from an agent, before my senior year, I was filling out grad school applications. I was going to go to grad school for architecture. And so I had kind of given up on the NFL dream. I was kind of focusing on what was next. I got a call, and I kind of realized, like, maybe this is a possibility. And I just kind of put my head down. Things worked out my senior year, had a great senior year. Ended up getting a chance to play with the Chargers as a priority free agent. I'm not Chargers, but Colts, excuse me. And then just kind of took off from there, and football is kind of a thing that I was new to. I had been a basketball guy growing up, got on the football late. But, college I developed, made it to NFL. Luckily got to stay on with the Jaguars and met some really good coaches while I was there, and they just developed me. And I was lucky enough to be a guy that had time to develop in the NFL, And so I think a lot of where I'm at today just to those coaches I had in college, coaches I had to the NFL, because this wasn't a dream of mine, I never thought I'd be sitting in front of you guys coaching. I was in the NFL and playing and got hurt. I got hurt back-to-back years. My wide receiver coach at the time, he was like, man, you should really get into coaching. Like, you're a smart guy. You love the game. You're a good player. And he was kind of the first person that ever put it on my heart or even said I should do it. And so, when I got out the game, he called me. I called a few people, and things just kind of happened.
Sure, younger guys ask you what piece of advice would you give them? Want to go to the league? What's your number one piece of advice for them?
You have to do the extra. Coach calls it edge work here. You have to do the extra. My senior year, when I realized I really had a chance, I started putting in that extra work. Staying after practice, coming before practice, watching film in the mornings, watching film before I went home. Like I really bought into what my coaches had told me once I realized that I had a shot. What I tell these guys, don't wait till you realize you have a shot. Like, push for it now. Push for it now and put yourself in the best position. Don't wait until you see the opportunity to try to take it. If you're always ready, you don't have to get ready.
Scheme that West Virginia running now with Graham Harrell, a lot different than what you coached, played in before?
Oh, yeah, it's a complete 180. You look at Coastal Carolina, we had a lot of success, but that was rooted in triple option, being a run-heavy offense, take your shots. Like I said, like probably leading receiver maybe had like 65 catches in the season. It wasn't like a ton of targets. It was just a lot of yards because they were deeper passes. There's a lot of blocking, a lot of different things involved. Being an air raid system, there's a lot more passes, a lot more RPOs, a lot more opportunities for receivers to get open and get targets. And so from that aspect, it's totally different. But I think anywhere I've been, we've had a pretty good passing game, and so from that standpoint, I think I want to keep that same consistency.
So does that mean you teach your receivers differently with a different scheme, or is a route and go run it and block it and do what you got to do?
Yeah, I mean, everybody has little tweaks. Everybody runs certain routes a little different. Maybe you put your little bit of flavor in your offense a little bit different. But at the end of the day, it's always football. At the end of the day, it's always receiver play. At the end of the day, you have to go out there and beat a defensive back. You have to find the zone, the holes in the defense and the zones. You have to do those things. Like you have to block corners, you have to block safeties, you might have to block linebackers. I mean, no matter, what packaging it comes in, what you call the offense, at the end of the day, you got to move the ball. You got to get body on body. You got to catch the ball. You got to make plays. Football is football no matter what system you're in, so I don't try to overcomplicate it. You teach your guys the fundamentals because the fundamentals go with them anywhere, no matter what level, no matter what offense. So just try to stay basic, teach fundamentals, teach techniques.
Tony, what was the 20 season like for you guys at Coastal Carolina, going all the way down to the very end almost?
2020 season was amazing. That was my first year with the team. They had went 5-7 the year prior, and you felt like you had a really good team. You just needed a piece here or there. And in 2020, I think the pieces hit just right. I think for Coastal Carolina, I think the best thing that happened to us that season was COVID, because it allowed that program to get on national TV against Kansas. It allowed us to be on national TV against Campbell, who's the FCS opponent, who that game would never be on national TV. And I think just having that national exposure, winning those ball games, beating Louisiana Lafayette that year, third or fourth game of the season on a Wednesday night on ESPN, I think it just propelled, Coastal Carolina to a national status it had never been to. And I think it put a lot of confidence in our guys that, we could do this. And I think the momentum had hit just right, and the guys were just playing with so much confidence. It was kind of on autopilot. It was kind of on autopilot to that bowl game. We ended up losing. It was a great season, man, a great experience.
You got some guys that you're going to get down the road. Have you studied them yet? The recruits that you got. There's a couple guys that you're going to add to the room.
Yeah. So the JUCO guys we have coming this summer, we recruited both of them at Coastal, so I had prior relationships with both of those guys. So they're not totally new to me, and so both of them are really good players. Both of them were guys that we would have loved to have at Coastal Carolina. Obviously they came here, and I think they're great players. I think they can help us. It's good having an outside guy and a slot receiver coming in, because now that allows us to fill some depth issues, and I think those guys have to be ready to play. So when they get here in the summer, it's not going to be a lot of hand-holding and learn the offense. You got to get out there and get your feet wet and get dirty and make mistakes, but that's the opportunity they have, and they've got to take advantage of it when they get here.
What's a comfortable number for you to have ready to go by the time you guys kick it off?
I'm not sure. To me, if you got 6 to 8 guys and they're ready to go, then you're fine. Of course, you like to have more. You like to have some aces in the hole so you can develop guys and continue to work from that aspect. But in essence, as long as you have enough guys to go out there and play on Saturday, you have a nice rotation, I think we'll be fine. So I don't think there's a magic number. You just got to have enough guys to go out there and do what you need to do schematically.